Hi, it's Melissa at Her Quiet Passions, and we picked a most gorgeous day. The light and the moisture in the air of Muir Woods. Here we are in the dark depths of Muir Woods today. And I thought I'd share a little bit about the Flora. The well-known history of the establishment of preserving Muir Woods goes that Gifford Pinchot lobbied Theodore Roosevelt to establish a national monument. But when you go back a few more years, you find out who was really responsible for saving these redwoods. Reading from a page on the National Park Service, it says that Lyon White was a towering figure in the preservation movement. She founded the California Club in San Francisco in 1897. Even though she left the California Club in 1902, the club continued its important work. In 1904, the Forestry Chapter launched one of its first campaigns to protect Muir Woods. So this is the start of protecting these redwoods. We stayed on the floor of the canyon and took the Redwood Creek Trail Loop. As we followed the creek, I couldn't help but imagine the original people who lived and managed these lands, the Coast Miwok. It's so delicious and luscious to be walking through these amazing redwood trees. They just go up and up and up and up. This is an example of a tree that was burned possibly 100 years ago, but the tree is still standing and living, although part of it is gone and you can see the black scar. Let's talk about the bark on redwood trees. It can be up to 12 inches thick. It's spongy and absorbent. It has hardly any resins, so it's fire resistant, very fire resistant. And there's tannin in the bark to prevent insects and fungi. They like to be in groups like this. See how they're kind of clustered in a group here. So a family circle is when there's a single large redwood, and then a fire, perhaps a repeated fire, kills the large redwood in the center, and offspring spring up from the burl that has all these latent growth cells that can turn into trees all around, and it happens to be in a circle. If you look at the top of the circle, the family circle, you can see them all kind of form into almost like one big tree at the top. And there's one across the way, like that's also another top of the family circle. That's so cool. So I mentioned burls. This is what a burl looks like. It's a knobby growth that is mostly seen at the base of the coast redwoods, though it can be found up a little higher too. It's a woody material full of unsprouted bud tissue. It's actually storage for the genetic code of the parent tree. So if that tree falls or is damaged, another tree will sprout from the burl, and it's a clone of that tree. This is the burl of a fallen tree, and look at that beautiful wood grain in this. I think they make bowls and furniture out of this. It's highly prized. I'm kind of obsessed with the understory, the ferns, the leaves that fall, and the moss. And more ferns coming out of the moss. Look at that old ancient stump with just covered with moss. It's just fuzzy with moss. There's a lot of moss. That's one of the things I love. Look at that moss just soaked up with water from the rain. Was it last night? And it's just full of water. This ground cover with shamrock-shaped leaves is so charming. It's a redwood sorrel, and it grows quite comfortably along with this coltsfoot. The sorrel just dominates the forest floor. It just grows and grows, and apparently has this pink flower in the early spring. And I love how the sorrel is growing in this hollowed out tree trunk. This is cool. It's hard to believe that these great big salmon could go in this creek. Well, it's pretty low right now because of the drought, even with the rain last night. Imagine when this creek is full of water that the salmon would swim up here. Here's a nice view of a lot of these ferns that are growing all over. There's several kinds of ferns growing here. They just line this creek. So peaceful. Here are the western sword ferns with their single lance-shaped leaves. Now here's the other kind of fern that is, they have multiple branches leafing out on the sides compared to this sword fern, and it's mixed in with some horsetail. That's so cool. It's like an ancient plant, like a really prehistoric plant. And it's full of silica. It's very kind of rough or gritty. And they called it miner's scrub brush or something like that. They could scour pots with it or something like that. That's the story I heard when I was growing up. So this is an interesting plant. And you can see its flowers there. Oh, those are probably dried seed pods or something by now. Let's see. There's a few of them along this. Oh, it's so nice. It's so cute and pink. I guess they are flowers. And I love these leaves. It's a big plant. It's so peaceful here. I'm just soaking up the peace and the quiet and calm green. It's so healing. I hope you've enjoyed this wintertime slice of Muir Woods.